Got a flex game here. Mixture of like silver, gold, elo. Um, let's get to it. So, as always, I always try to look at my matchup when I'm first loading into the game and reviewing the game. And I like to work my way and say, okay, what does my champion want to do? What does his champion want to do? And after I look at that matchup, I'll usually look at the jungle next. Unless I'm in a duo, then I look at the ADC. But I mean, I think they're like equally important. Arguably, the jungle might even be a more important matchup. I also like to look at the mid lane matchup and the top lane matchup, but and I think they're important to take into account, and it's something you should think about every game is all the matchups. For example, there was a game where we had a Shen, so we knew that we could play a little more aggressively once he hit level 6. A more obvious example, but anyway, that's what I like to do. That's how I like to look at it. And when I look at my matchup, as I said, what am I trying to do? What is he trying to do? And I think it's important to look at your sums and your runes. So Anivia has Electrocute, so he's going to be looking for those 3-hit combos, whether it's like Q, E auto, or Q auto, or whatever it is. That's what he's looking for. I have Comet, I have Ignite, he has Exhaust. So I'm going to be looking to poke him down aggressively and, hit my E, hit my Q, preferably in the opposite order, and always get that auto attack in because Lux's autos do so much damage when she procs her passive. But of course, I can't just be thinking like, what do I do? What does Nivea do? I need to be thinking, how do we actually interact in the game? Like, if I was playing against a Soraka, I could just be running up and trying to throw a Q anytime I got a shot. As long as I send it before the silence. But against Anivia, I can't really just run up and throw Qs whenever I want because she obviously has a stun. And she's probably going to be doing more damage than me in the early game. So I need to prioritize dodging Anivia Q. Anytime you have a champion that has those big skill shots, especially ones that CC, like Morgana, Anivia, Lux, Zyra, you always want to be playing around those cooldowns. And it doesn't mean that you can't go in if they still have it up. You can, you just have to keep that in mind as you walk up to them. I think it's helpful to think of it like, okay, if I was Zyra and I saw Lux walking up like this, would I throw an E? And the answer is yeah, I probably would. I'd probably throw a kind of panicky, dumpy E. So the way you react to that, obviously, if you know she's gonna panic and throw an E at you, you just sidestep right as she sees you starting to aggressively come in on. And it's a feel thing, right? It's just a feel thing. Maybe after you sidestep a few times, she starts to pick up on that and throws it, tries to predict you. So maybe then you just stay where you are to dodge it. Whatever, there's mind games. But point being, it's more important to think about what your opponent has up, what your opponent is trying to do, than it is yourself, because if you're thinking about what you're doing, then you're missing half the entire equation, and you're missing out on the advantage of controlling yourself while it's also focusing on someone else. So that's the key. You gotta be a listener. And if you're unable to get to the level where you can control your champion and throw abilities out without thinking, then you either need to continue grinding that champion or switch champions. I think if you play if you're a relatively experienced player and you play 30, 40 games on any champ, there's a good chance that you'll still suck at them, but you'll probably start to get. That's usually when I get the hang of them, is around like 30, 40, 50 games. Usually closer to like 30, 40 is when I'm like, okay, I know how to combo. I know what all of his abilities do. I know the order in which I want to hit them. I don't have to think too much about it, even though I'm still trash at the champion. I can try to focus more on the opponent. So yeah, I think that's a good like gauge of how skilled you are with like if you should be playing a champion in ranked. And God knows I play a lot more champions in ranked than I should be playing. It's also why it's very important to have a small champion pool if you're incapable of playing your entire pool without thinking about abilities and all that. Like, that needs to be muscle memory. Definitely not muscle memory for me in this game. This is not a good game for me. That's okay. So yeah, that's that matchup. MF Xayah. To be honest, I haven't played against Xayah that much, not since I was an ADC back in season 8. But I mean, this is part of why the support matchup's more important, because like, I mean, Xayah's gonna be looking to poke, and we have to watch out for that and respect her root. And once she hits ult, I think she's one of those champions where like you really care more about when she hits level 6. Like, I don't really care much about Shen top lane until he hits level 6. Obviously that's because it's a fucking global ability, but or like a Mumu, like I'm not too afraid of a Mumu until he hits 6. He still has decent ganks, but or Diana, like I'm not too concerned. And Xayah, there's not really much like to be afraid of until she obviously gets some gold, gets her mythic and maybe a couple items. But there's not really like a trick to it. Like Morgana, you have to bait out her black shield, right? In a lot of matchups, and you have to dodge her Q or flash her Q. There's not really that many gimmicks with Xayah, like until she hits 6. Then the gimmick is like, you obviously can't just throw skill shots out at her. You have to wait for her to ult, or you have to bait it out. But yeah, and on top of that, she kind of needs, I mean, I'm sure she's gonna hit us with the root a lot because we're not good, but she kind of needs that support setup, that nice volley from the support to hit that root to confirm it. So, and it also just he does not do nearly as much damage as Anivia is going to be doing. So, but another thing to keep in mind, Anivia has exhaust, which I guess is probably pretty good against Vex. I mean, it's fine against MF if you can get into range, but like, if MF is ulting you from like a decent angle, walking up and like exhausting her, by the time you get to her, her ulti is going to be close to down. You're going to be super chunked out and overextended, and it's not really gonna do. It's in normal scenarios like that, it's probably not going to do you very good. But that said, you know, maybe I hit a Q and they're like running back to their tower. Maybe both the junglers come in. It's just pure chaos, and he preemptively exhausts. Or, you know, maybe they're low. I hit a Q, I start walking up, MF starts walking up, and he preemptively exhausts MF. Then I think it's decent, but I don't know. I would have taken Ignite if I was him, but what the fuck do I know? Like I said, it is good against Vex. And probably decent against Braves too, honestly. So, yeah. And then, mid matchup. I don't play Vex, but I think this would be pretty good for her. Obviously, the cage. Does that stop the cage? Does the cage stop Vex? It must, right? I think it does. I have not played her very much. But if Vagar cage is down, which it has a pretty long cooldown and it's not too hard to bait out, but depends. If I'm playing against Vagar a lot, I can bait it out. If I don't play against him much, or if like I don't lane directly against him, then I'll get hit by the cage a lot. But I think if his cage is down, like that's a pretty free target. I mean, Vagar always has kind of a trash laning phase, unless he's playing like support. It'd be okay, but I like seeing Vagar's locked in on the other team, honestly. Like if I'm a jungler, especially jungle and mid lane. If I'm playing a gank jungler, I see Vagar, like it's fucking free shit. But once he gets his mythic, or you know, as I was saying about Zai, once he gets a couple items, he gets pretty scary pretty quickly, especially when the E cooldown gets super low. Like that's when he becomes really dangerous. And he can get away with building like defensive items earlier, or like building more HP than typical mages, still doing a fuck ton of damage. So, you know, obviously we don't want to see this guy scale, but I think Graves, Diego, I imagine this would be good for Graves simply because of your passive on, what is it, his E, the armor reduction. And you can also dodge his stun too. So I think it's probably pretty good for Graves. You obviously, if you get hit by that, I mean, he has Conqueror, Graves has Dark Harvest, so it could be pretty tough early, and it could be real tough if you get hit by that that E. Top lane. This is a rough one for Sion. Lilia top is still really strong. And she can just, I mean, Sion's weakness, one of his weaknesses, especially in lane, is like mobility. Like playing a Kali against Sion, it sounds like it wouldn't be that bad for Sion, but she could just poke you and dodge you all day. Just constantly harass you. I don't know who wins the matchup, but I know there are a lot of, or like Darius can cancel your Q, which isn't mobility, but still there's a lot of, any champ who can really easily deal with his Q is kind of tough. Like Renekton can just dash it. Yeah, it's tough for Sion. Plus, I mean, Lilia just outscales him so hard in terms of, obviously when he gets team fights, that's Sion's strength. But she can just run around, farm, build, scale super hard, not get punished too hard, and that sucks. I mean, that's a tough part about playing a tank, is you lose lane a lot just by getting outscaled. Like even if you don't die, or even if you get a kill, like an early kill, like it's very easy for champs to just farm their way back into the game. So that's going to be tough, and that's a big reason why they won, was because she got quite huge. But that was, I mean, when someone gets fed on the enemy team, everyone has to take responsibility. Like even the bot lane, I think. I mean, we're obviously not laning against her, but like come mid game, I mean, mid game in any game, there's just so many just obvious, like very blatantly dumb mistakes that everyone makes. And you know, it's nothing to hang your head on, but it's just like, I think laning phase is the most important thing to look at for sure, but I think people are just very one-sided in their thinking, just like, I won lane, therefore I deserve to win this game. It's like, no, that's not really how it works at all. Some champs are you should be expected to win lane. A lot of matchups where you should be expected to win lane and the game isn't even close to over. But because it's so much more consistent, the laning phase, and it should be played out more consistently, I think it's a little easier to review and just correct mistakes on and be working on those mistakes. But anyway, let's get into this shit. So we're gonna look for an invade here. It seems like the people we've been playing against more recently have been like 5 stacking on invades as well. But here you'll see a Nivea just overstep. But like it doesn't really matter that much. Like if they 5 stack, I'm not that scared. But I don't know if they even did here. I guess I didn't hear. But yeah, so we get her flash early. Sucks that she had Ghost coming out of base or whatever. Kind of BS, honestly, but that's okay. I should have just threw a Q right there. I was just a little late. I think I was trying to like force her flash or wait for her flash, but I think I was mostly afraid of her Ghost movement speed because I figured if I flashed and threw a Q, she would just fly sideways and it would be too hard for her to dodge. But she got pretty close here, and since the wall's right here, I could have just queued like this, kind of at an angle. So like if she tried to sidestep, she'd get hit by the Q, and she can't go this way, obviously. But I mean, easier said than done. Like she's flying in very fast. I was not expecting it. So I mean, and I did throw it kind of quickly. I don't know if I was trying to predict her flash or if I just missed. Yeah, I guess I was thinking she's gonna go up top side, but maybe I just sucked it. But yeah, so we shouldn't drop 2 wards here. This is a waste of a ward. Well, I guess actually because we were like facing her down, I guess it's fine because kind of late though. I think had that been Graves, it would have been fine, but we didn't really need that one. But that's all right. So now we know where he's gonna start. Like most likely, especially if Graves starts top, there's no way Diego's gonna start in Graves blue side without us seeing it. It's extremely unlikely. So ward there, which I don't think anyone pinged. I should have pinged it, but or what? I guess I technically. Oh no, I can't see it. So is this? Oh wow, we just have so much vision. It looks like it's no retarded. This is fucking. Okay, so yeah, we see this shit happening. Diego gets first blood. Kind of unfortunate. I guess we should have expected them to be on the red side once they saw us on their red side. So for one, they probably should have walked together. Anytime you're face checking a jungle, and you have the option to group, like 90% of the time you're gonna want to group, like particularly for level 1, like on like before minion spawn. There's not really a reason for them not to group together, because if they're together here and they walk in, Sion it might be harder to focus Graves because Sion's there for him, and that's who they should probably try to target. But in this case, Graves is kind of far back, so they turn onto the Sion. And fucking Lilia gets a very high value Q. And obviously Graves, well, he starts E, right? Okay, yeah, so he doesn't benefit from the armor versus Lilia. So big Q, but they're not together, so they can't focus the same guy. If Graves was here, They could have just focused this guy and killed him, but fortunately they go opposite ways. So yeah, it is what it is. Hard to see that coming, but getting Lily a flash is good. Looks like Silence still has flash. So we're kind of looking for cheese, but we don't want to miss minions. And we figured they were in one of these bushes because obviously Diego didn't start bot. So I see him walk up, which is, I guess he's trying to proc electrocute, but very bold of him to walk out because I get a Q and a free auto. I mean, we already pop her egg. We get the kill too. Really easy. It doesn't make any sense for Anivia to step up there. I mean, I don't even have to go back and replay it. Like, just very, very dumb. She didn't even like ignite. I mean, exhaust either. So I think she just got greedy, and that's what I was talking about before. Was like, you can't just walk up. There are some matchups where you can literally just walk up and throw your skill shots because the enemy is gonna have anything they can really do about it. Like if you're playing Xerath against like I don't know, say like Viego, and you like max range, look for W, throw W at him, and like the minion wave is even or on your side. Like what is Viego gonna do? He does not have the range to answer that. So pretty much what Anivia did there, just walked straight up without accounting for my Q. Or like she very obviously wasn't even thinking of the possibility of me throwing out the only ability I had because she was too focused on proccing electrocute. So really, really stupid. She burned her passive and her life. And then Xayah turns, looks to get the kill on me, which is also very questionable. I think she's trying to like make up for, she's trying to like salvage this play. Like here, she's just protecting the egg. So, you know, I get why. And she's getting a lot of poke on me, so like that was good chip damage from her. But like, I guess she's also, so I Q her here. Yeah. So she was rooted too. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's not like, it's not like she could have done anything. Yeah, my Q cooldown is so short. It's crazy. What is it, 10 seconds? 11 seconds? Even here, like, Xayah does not need to be this close to him. Her auto attack range is not this small. And Anivia is clearly like already fucked. So had she stood a little further back, like just kited this back a little bit, she probably would have been able to react to my, and like especially this, like they're clearly not respecting our, nor taking advantage of our range. Like they're just like overstepping without thinking about any of this. Get the kill. And like turning here was like, what did she even hit? You gotta CS, like really, they're very, very greedy. They're very greedy. And I'm not trying to like brag on them, like I'm not any better. I make these mistakes too, but it's just funny to see. I mean, fine flash, she realizes she can't kill me, but like that's not even worth, like trading her life for mine is not worth it. Because if, like, let's say they both get the kill, then okay, ADC is not on the mat, we shove the wave. She maybe misses minions, depending on if MF can get this by the time Nivea is back. But I mean, MF will be level 2 by then, so Doesn't really make sense. She needs to recall. She's too low. She needs to run back and recall. But she's being very greedy. But also, at this point, we have to be very careful of Diego. Because, yes, he started. He took... okay, so what did he end up going back? I don't know. Did he end up going back? Wait. Oh, okay, so it took them. Okay, so he does end up... Wow. Okay. So yeah, we need to be careful of him, even more so. But he's still really behind. I would have thought he would have taken this. That's surprising. I guess he was pretty low. And Graves was still somewhat healthy. So. But. Just poking him down. I know my Q's up. I don't need to be scared. We already saw this. So, yeah, they should back, but they don't. We're gonna be hitting level 2. I still have my flash. Sitting in this bush, zoning him off the wave. We probably should have let that wave push in. Although, we're not loaded on resources. And Avia's coming back with the potions. I guess MF's got plenty. So I guess we are pretty healthy. Yeah, we should have just froze this, actually. Definitely should have froze this. See, just stupid. Just stupid. That's another mistake that people make, is just not just recalling. Like, just give up the minions. Losing minions sucks and it feels really fucking bad, but there hasn't been a single silver player in the history of League of Legends who's like won because they froze a wave at level 2, or because, you know, they controlled the wave, or that lost because they missed the minion wave. Whereas there have been millions upon millions upon millions of silver players who have thrown a game by breeding for minions or for a kill or for you name it. I guess that's kind of a contradictory statement, but the advantage you get from getting a kill on someone greeting versus just getting denying a wave, and also and not killing them. I mean, in the first case, you lose the wave and you die usually. The second case, you just lose the wave, and I mean, obviously, the latter scenario is much more disastrous for the greeter, and yeah, so very standard stuff, extremely greedy play. We do deny this big wave though, at least, so it doesn't really turn out to be that big of a deal, especially because it's gonna bounce back anyway, so that's fine. Got the wave coming back. MF looking for the Q. Fucking kill the minion and get the extra Q poke. Which is what exactly what she should be looking for, but good wall by Nivea. That's the a lot of champions have abilities that once you master it, that's when you master the champion. And it's how you tell if the opponent is competent on the champion, is if you know, Echo W, Yasuo Wind Wall, Vagar Cage, those kinds of abilities that have like fucking millions of different ways of using are what separate the competent players versus the non-competent player. And Um, yeah, pretty good wall. Pretty good wall. I'm thinking. Actually, I don't know. I don't really like it actually because usually you want to use your wall. I think she should have walled and then queued because she probably would have been able to get a double. And it obviously, she has a much higher percentage chance of landing Q. And that's the combo that you see is by good Nvidia players is wall, ulti, and then just pretty much get a free Q depending on matchup and items and all that shit. But yeah, so I take that back. We also have this, they have no vision. They knew Grave started top. This is like the most classic way to die in League of Legends is to get ganked at like, it's usually a little earlier, but since Graves was late to his jungle, it happens at 4 minutes. To die to these like 2 minutes into laning phase, these ganks with no vision, like using your key abilities with no vision. So I definitely take that back. Yeah, really, and this is a mistake I make too, all the time. So again, I'm not dumping on these guys, and if I am, I'm dumping on myself too. But yeah, classic mistake. And this is also why recently I've started to abandon, not abandon, but put much less focus on overall win cons. I think win cons are important, and more important the higher you go, and you know, at the highest level, the most important part of the game, obviously. But in silver, we're still silver flex. We're still trying to figure out how to use our champions properly, and we're still making all sorts of stupid mistakes that are so unbelievably fundamental and fixable, most importantly. That's the other thing. Like, people will blame their teammates, they'll blame the meta, they'll blame their champion. They'll blame anything but their own skills. And they're afraid to admit their own failures and own mistakes to protect their ego. And I'm not excluding myself, this is myself included, 100%. When the reality is that the mistakes that you're making that cost you the game, you don't need to be anything special to prevent those from happening. Like, the person you're trying to protect by making up excuses, no one is that person that's that good at League that they don't make mistakes. Like, don't try to protect that person because it's so fixable. Like, people try to like protect themselves because they think that, oh, I'm not good enough at League to play flawlessly and perfectly, therefore I need to protect my ego. But the truth is that the mistakes you're making are not out of your control. Like, these are very much, when you go back and watch the replay, you realize how bad you are at this game. And anyone who talks with, like, I don't know, with the confidence that they're so good at the game that it's impossible for them to lose on a fair level playing field. It's impossible. There must be something rigged about their champion or Riot or whatever. The meta's not in their favor. Fucking, I don't know. They have gout. Like, they'll find anything. And it's ridiculous because You don't need to be Faker to like not walk up and use your wall with no vision when you already hit your Q, and walk up in range when I have all my abilities up. Grading for CS, like you don't need to be special to be fixing those mistakes. You go back and watch the replay, you realize how fixable this stuff is. And it's painful to go back and realize how bad you are. I fucking hate reviewing replays, and I hate reviewing losses. Well, I mean, it's pretty fun to review replays, but like, if I just lost a game, like to sit down and go back and watch the replay is so painful. Just to like, oh, not even because you lose, but that on top of just like seeing yourself get outplayed or just fucking making some brain dead mistakes. It's not fun, but makes you better at the game, and it's the fastest way to improve, in my opinion. And this leads me to the point I was going to make was that there's no reason for me to focus on win cons right now. It's to think that I'm good enough to focus on overall win cons is egotistical. I think if I'm playing Trundle, who's my best champion by far, and my best role by far, and I'm halfway through the season, and I, back in the Trundle rhythm, I know what builds I like, I know what rune pages I like. I'm using my pillars well, etc., etc., and I'm using my champion proficiently. Then I can start focusing on win cons. And I'm playing out my early game well, or at least within the context of win cons, because win cons kind of change, but once I have all that shit, like that's when I can start focusing on that next level. But to be coming into the game thinking about like formations and like your comp's identity is just not, it's not useful. It's not useful, honestly. It's not useful at all. Focusing on winning your lane and improving on, or at least trying to improve on whatever it is you're working on, or trying to play out the matchup properly, or just trying to be very hard to beat. Focusing on that is what matters, right, at this level. And honestly, I think if we all like came up with our own individual goals for our lanes, like, okay, I'm not gonna get hit by allow E, or okay, I'm going to ward at 330, or I'm gonna full clear and I'm going to look to gank bot, or every time Yasuo goes up to last hit, I'm going to harass him. I think if we all just had that and we didn't say a word to each other the entire game, we would absolutely smash a team at our equal skill level who, instead of doing that, was thinking like, okay guys, what should we do once the towers drop? Should we split push? Should we send some, should we 1-3-1? Should we ARAM? Should we be focusing bot lane this game? Do you think we should just try to dive this guy repeatedly? It sounds like the things you should be talking about, and they're important on a certain level, good to think about. But when you make that a focal point, you will lose every time. I promise you. Unless, and this is specifically for like, I would say like Plat 4 and below. I think Plat 2 is a higher level than, I'm not saying it's like a high level of play, because that's all entirely subjective and arbitrary, but it's a higher level of play of Plat 4 for sure. 100%. Yeah, I feel like silver, gold, like a high silver, gold, and Plat 4 are like pretty close to even, honestly. Like, I hit Plat 4 last season, and playing against a silver 1 who like really knows how to play their champion, it doesn't really feel that different. I mean, it's obviously different and a little easier, but it does not feel as different as Plat 4 to Plat 2. Like those levels I think are different, but and I imagine that would be like Plat 2 to like Diamond 4. And then, I don't know. After that, whatever. Who cares? But anyway, yeah, just a little rant there. Just, I need to focus on my individual win cons, my individual game plan more, and less on the teams, and not worry about the team's win con. The other thing is, as long as you're like focusing, not autopiloting, and like, you know, come mid game when like team macro and team game plan starts to become relevant, you'll figure that out like for yourself. Like it's the answers aren't that hard; they're there, and as long as you're not focusing on that, like that should be going through my head right now. Right now my brain should be, okay, Anivia steps up to Q, I dodge and I Q her, or I hit 6, I flash Q, or 3 minutes I ward. Very, very simple, very, very little words. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. If they have a Shen, I'll consider Shen. Like, they have a Lilia with Ignite, I don't care. I'm focusing on anything that impacts how I play in the first 15 minutes of the game. I think I trade with her here. So let me see. Let's roll this back real quick. Oh, let's take this back. Okay, so Nivy level 3, MF level 3, Braves level 3, me and Zaya level 2. So the first thing I'm immediately thinking whenever our jungler comes, I should already preemptively have a rough idea of where Viego is, so I shouldn't even be thinking like, right now I should be asking myself, is Viego here? I should already know that answer, or at least know that we don't know. So when I see Graves here, what I should be thinking is, we see Viego top, let's go in, and the next question is, who do we focus, right? And it's pretty obvious, I think. It's just Zaya. She's the ADC. I mean, Anivia is honestly going to be doing more damage, I think. Most likely, unless Zaya dodges everything and like just smurfs this fight and is able to put out a fuck ton of autos. But I think it's the more obvious reason is because we can deny her farm, and her farm on her is a lot better than farm on Anivia. But if I have the option to kill both and it doesn't like hurt our chances of having a successful play, then I'm going to do it. So I see Graves. I think I go up maybe, well, I guess the wall is there. So I think this is actually probably fine to go for. Yeah, just get the slow on them, because they're, I mean, if I'm a Nivea and I miss everything like that, or like I use everything, I'm trying to step back. I'm trying to run backwards. So I think this is fine to go on. I get the slow. Fortunately, I don't hit both of them. Fuck the auto. I should have autoed him here, but because I well, okay, hold on. Let me. Yeah, okay. Because I look like I'm going for Nivea, Zaya kind of steps up. I don't really remember in my. I should have autoed her, then queued whoever. But I don't know if this was intentional or not, but when you like, that's one good way to use a skill shot is like walk up to someone else and then throw it at the other person. Like, I just kind of walk up to Nivea, turn, throw it at Zaya. So I don't really care about getting hit here because there's just no way I die here. The Zaya autos with all of Nivea's stuff down. So I'm just making sure she dies. Right here, I know I don't want the kill. I know that she doesn't have flash or heal. So I'm 100% certain that I can go for Nivea and I don't need to risk Zaya not dying. Because even if she like somehow keeps going, walking this way, I can, and let's say Nivea somehow gets out. Like let's say she had flash and she like flashes over the wall and gets out. Even then, we can just turn on Zaya and two autos, she's dead. So typically I try to confirm the kill over everything else, but this is a case where I know she's fucked. So I know I can look to get more out of this play. I should be autoing probably. Well, let's see what my Q. Yeah, so I don't have cooldowns. I should definitely be autoing because Graves is going to be able to get into range soon. Granted, he gets exhausted, so I think he just flashed, or he's gonna flash. So yeah, 7 seconds on my Q. Yeah, I know my Q is gonna be down longer than my E, so I know our best chance to kill her is I just need to hit this E and auto her, and hopefully Graves can get into range. Auto. I should have been autoing the whole time, but it's alright. E, auto. I should have walked up here. I should have just let Graves tank or whatever. Was that? Wait. Was that? So confused what just happened. I thought Graves didn't, but I know this thing's bugged a lot, so it's possible that. I think he just accidentally, yeah, there was trying to flash in an auto, or I'm not sure what happened, but I should have walked upwards here. So, that sucks. Good try by the MF to heal me. I wonder if, did I have pots? Did I just buy those or did I have those? So I should have also just been popping the fuck out of my... That's the nice thing about refills is like, you don't have to be afraid to just pop, pop, pop. When you know you're gonna recall too, like, just fucking pop that. I should have popped everything, 100%. Like, this sells for 5 fucking gold. You know, obviously I could hold on to it, consider getting more value. But like, if this is gonna make a difference between me living in this play and not, then I should be fucking full. Like, who cares? Just fucking send it, pop all of it. And that's another mistake that's easy to overlook is like, there are so many fights where someone has 2 pots and, you know, they go in all in on each other, they're auto attacking each other, throwing all their abilities, and one person dies with 2 pots when they're both super low. Like, so many times where those pots would have made the difference in the fight, or even one pot would have made the difference. And it's just an easy thing to forget about for whatever reason. Like, both forgetting to use your pots in a fight and also forgetting to like review that or forgetting to consider that after the fact, because there's so much going on. Like, you were thinking like, oh, if only I had dodged that Morgana W, or if only I had flashed this. And that stuff's important to look at too, but I mean, you literally just have to press a button and you win the fight in a lot of cases. So yeah, potions are very important. Yeah, unfortunately I die there, which kind of sucks because Anivia scales well, and even though we want the money's better on her than it is on Zaya. We don't want to just give her 3 kills when we don't need to. So, and I can't help MF push the wave in, which, let's see, she could have actually let this slow push maybe. Let me see. Yeah, she definitely could have let this slow push, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she could have. Because these are, I mean, we have 1 full wave. They have, well, this isn't, yeah, so they have 1 full wave and a melee minion. And they also, their minions are going to show up here first. So we should have let this, in hindsight, we should have let this push to us. The default response a lot of people have whenever they get a kill is either instantly base, or if they have the mana, it's usually their auto response is to just push the wave in, which usually, if you can get the wave in, is the right decision. The only problem is with that is a lot of times people underestimate how long it takes to push the wave in, or underestimate how fast the enemy is going to get to lane. There have been a lot of times where I've tried to push a wave in, I use all my abilities, but I just can't quite get it in, or they just get back in time, or whatever happens, when I could have just let the wave slow push into me, because that denies at least half this wave and we keep control. Whereas shoving and unsuccessfully shoving, just, they get the freeze. It's like an interception. It's just like, it all turns on us. And even if you get the wave in, that's fine, but you could have based earlier, right? And you could have got to lane faster, or at least like, if not faster than them. Well, you're not gonna get back faster than them, but, well, Olivia's still dead. But I mean, Zaya's already spawned. Point being, you get back the lane faster, right? Just something to consider as an option, like, can I slow push this? Or let this slow push? And, was I gonna say? Even if it means, if it's a massive wave and you don't want to just let it push, you can just thin it too, right? You can just fucking kill a couple minions. And it's kind of a judgment, like, it's kind of, you kind of have to get a feel for like how many you need to kill, but generally as long as you have like, it depends how close the wave is to their tower, how many minions you need for it to push, but if it's even anywhere before the river, if it's the same amount of minions, it's gonna push to you. Oh wait, I accidentally put this on routine. So let me go back. So let's take this back. MF low. Does she have gold to spend? A little bit, not a lot. Can she finish anything? That's a question. So she's going for lifesteal. I don't really remember what mythic that's for. So I just ward up the dragon. I like that I didn't go sweeper. Usually I go sweeper a little too early, but I'm glad that I like just forgot this game. So see him here. Pretty simple E. I don't know if I E or Q. Okay, Q. I should have E'd first, for sure. That's another thing I like forget to consider is Lux's E. You don't need to pop it to get the slow, right? So unless I have flash, there's really no reason not to just leave the E as is until they're about to walk out. And this would have made my Q a lot more guaranteed. I'm level 3, so I shouldn't be stepping up like this, and I'm just not in a good position. I'm way too greedy with defending my baby wards. They're my babies though, so yeah, that stings. That's how you want to use it. That's a really good wall right there. That's exactly how you want to use your wall. And that's not something you can really. The reason that's like such a skill, like such an important measure for how good you are at your champion is that's not something you really think about that often. That's not something like it's clear when you watch the replay that this is an effective wall, but like that's something that's you figure out more so. Like the odds of him thinking to do that versus me, who doesn't really play Anivia, are infinitely higher. Because I assume he just plays more Anivia. And I mean there's a lot of uses in general of like, say, fucking Trundle Pillar, where unless you play the champion, you wouldn't think or develop the skill to use it in those ways. So like you can't like yeah, I should have so there's a lot of mistakes here. I should just let them have this. If I want to look for anything, it's an E and just run away. I'm lucky I even hit that whoops. I'm lucky I even hit that Q to begin with. I'm out leveled, like that's something I for future reference, like I'm not gonna beat down on myself for getting caught. Like that's just a good wall. Like I wouldn't have accounted for it. But That's something for future reference. Like if I'm playing against Anivia, I have to put that note in my head, like, be really careful in the jungle. Just be really careful. Yeah, just too far from my ADC, who's pretty fed. Doesn't, I mean, she just has a scepter, but we're still stronger than them 2v2, so there's just no reason for me to go in on this. Then Diego shows up anyway. Which we should have considered, because once you, I mean, it's a pretty clear, I assume he recalled. It's pretty clear recall to go to a side lane timing. Like, usually the first recall is around like 4.5 minutes ish if you clear like most of your camps, and anywhere from the ballpark of like 4 to like 6 minutes you want to watch out for the jungler going to their outside camp, then to the lane, or just straight to your lane. Could have done the same thing here, just go Gromp to top. And just you kind of have to confirm that you see him on the map before you make any aggressive moves, unless there's a good reason to do so. So I'm making my way back. MF, she's got cookies and pots, or well, just cookies, I guess. But this is also why it would have been good to recall before, because she could have shopped, she could have got all of her fucking HP and mana back, but now she kind of forces herself to stay, or at least puts herself in a tough spot. Makes the decision a lot harder, because you don't really know what's going to happen. And I also could have like held this wave at least a little bit for her, or like caught it. Nothing else. I somehow just walk into that route. Nice. Weird. Why isn't it supposed to, it was inside the turret? That's such BS. Got the heal. Good counter gank by Diego. Those are the best. Ooh, the is that lethal tempo or what the fuck? No, okay, that's just dummy range. Yeah, those are the best counter ganks, when like everyone blows all their abilities and they just start walking back. They're just fucking sitting ducks. Yeah, we knew he was in the area too. So let me go back and replay that. Let me replay that. I wasn't really like. I don't think I had anything up by the time I was able to. So I said with my Q, I want to auto her to proc my passive, but she's got a level on me, and we should just be letting them push this wave in. We shouldn't be trying to, hitting it is fine, but we shouldn't be trying to like establish control of the wave. And this minion wave's way too big. I should chill the fuck out. Honestly, if I was in Nivea, I would have walled the other side of that. I mean, MF does have a lot of, what do you call it? A lot of health, but she has no mana. Granted, okay, so we do see Graves. Got you, yeah. How close was their, yeah, I mean, that's fine then. Wondering. Yeah, I mean, that's probably fine, because that's probably how they die, is me hitting a Q and I still have my Q up. So, so here I should be thinking 3v3 because we just saw Diego, I think, right? He just ganked or whatever, I think. Yeah, so that's another thing that's easy to forget is like the return ganks, especially after you burn a flash. Like you gotta. We still need to confirm that Diego is not bot side, because like we don't see that these camps are all down. We know his red's down, but we don't see that his Gromp or his Krugs and Raptors are down. Yeah, so we should be scared here. We just saw him. Even if he's making his way top, like he can turn around. Like that's probably what's happening. Okay, so he's on. So his Raptors were up. Or at least at this point. Yeah, so really straightforward for him. So we should be thinking 3v3, and right now the clock in our heads should be ticking like tick, 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 tick. Like we're on a timer right now. A miniature timer here. Like we gotta get the fuck out. Especially when we see this. And I should probably, I mean, if we are to do anything here, it's burst Zyra and get the fuck out. Or if we can't, if possible, and it's our only option, burst Anivia, get her passive and get the fuck out. But hold on, let me see. So Graves is still not quite here, not quite here. He's looking though. They still don't see him. They still don't see him. Oh, so they actually didn't have vision on Graves. That was our ward. I'm stupid. Oh wait, they did. Okay, no, I'm not stupid. Okay, got you. Okay. I was trying to see, like, should I have stood in the middle of the lane? Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that's like, I don't remember if I was watching Graves hit the blast cone, but if I wanted to be super anal with this, I could say like, oh, when my jungler is like this close, I should try to stay more in the middle of the wave. That way Anivia can't prevent me from setting up the gank. I guess, yeah, but that's, when is the next time this situation is gonna happen? Like, how many games do you play against this Anivia support? One out of every like 800 maybe. And how many games are there where like you screw up because when your jungler was in the middle of blast coning, like you were standing just barely at the edge of terrain, so he was able to wall you off. It's like, this is a very, very, very specific mistake. And again, if I'm playing against an Anivia, like, I'll try to keep that in the back of my mind more. More relevant for mid lane, but just if your jungler's in the area, just try to not put yourself in a position to get walled, I guess, would be the thing. But I can't like hang my head on this or make it like a thing I should focus on. It's just a mental note, just floating in space, floating somewhere in my head in the archive somewhere. Good heal. Yeah. Do I get her? Oh, okay, so I actually do kill her. But definitely not worth it. I don't like giving shutdown to Nivea. If that was like a Braum, I'd have been like whatever, but yeah, that sucks. Sucks. So they're just on Dragon. We have this already. So we gotta be a little careful, especially because red is spawning. Just gotta watch out for Nivea in that bush. Misses. That was almost a good wall, but yeah, that's another thing I have to account for is once Nivea has her wall, you have to be more afraid of her wall than her Q, I think, because you have to be afraid of both, obviously, so you have to be very careful in general, but you can't overlook the wall setting up her combo. Yeah, I know that I can't just walk up and Q her there, sadly. The good thing about this matchup, though, is if I am able to hit a Q, I can one-shot Anivia once I get fucking an item and some goddamn levels. I'm just so underleveled for some reason. It's just from dying. There's the ulti. See, that's not really how you want to combo. That's a high value Q. Still should have walled first, probably. Unless he's probably could have saved it for gank. I think I die, yeah. That thing slaps. Those fucking minions, so obnoxious. So, should leave the wave here. Yep, smart play. That's the good thing about players who play lane and jungle, is people who only jungle would probably hard shove that. So definitely want to keep the wave on our side. Keep at least like 3 minions, maybe 4. Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. Just last hit. It's perfect. So, Rift Herald's the next objective to focus on. Which, by the way, I consider like playing around objectives a fundamental part of the game and like part of laning phase, especially as support. So that stuff I said before about like game planning, I mean that more specifically for like team comps and stuff. So just let this crash into us. We probably, oh, I'm not level 6 yet, so there's no reason for us to really fight. Once I hit 6 and if I can hit a Q, we can fight. But the good thing is, like, again, if I hit that Q on Nivea, it's bad news for her. But getting it off on her's the tricky part. It's hard to get it, but if I can get it, she's dead. Xayah, not so much, because she can just ulti. Even if I hit it, she can ulti, I think. It's just a root. Yeah, I can look to set up the Q with my E. And I could also like try to trade with him if I see him miss the Q. And he sees me step up, he's gonna probably wall and then ult me and then E me, which does a fuck ton of damage. But okay, so yeah, that's a nice dodge by this, good timing, but she didn't really go the right way there. Trying to, yeah, should have saved the ult on MF. I think she was trying to go out with all the cards on the table. Good poke. Beautiful. Beautiful. Got the flash. So much damage. You can never underestimate those Anivia Q or E's, especially with electrocute. It's very good fucking, very strong damage. Ooh, damn. Yeah, just pushed up too far. I shouldn't. If I'm full HP, I could put myself in a position to like bait out an ability, or you know, take a chance at dodging an Anivia Q in order to trade and kill. But with this HP, I can't be putting myself in a position to die. If I'm gonna stay here, I should be like channeling recall here. So, I mean, I shouldn't even stay. I should be recalling, but I should do it like here. Like I could, if I still want the XP. This wave is, yeah, I mean, I don't know where they are, so I had assumed that's what they were doing, but maybe could have pushed. I don't mind just leaving it though, because we don't really know if they're like in one of these bushes, and we don't really miss too much. I think it's gonna push back to them, but pretty slow. I don't know why I'm not CSing. I'm probably looking at the map or something. Okay. So they are just on Drake. So Viego is in the area. We want to be very selective. Nice. We know she doesn't have ult or flash. Beautiful. Oof. Nice ulti. Very nice ulti. That sucks that I got the shutdown. Yeah, this was risky, but like I said, if I hit a Q, whoever gets hit's like almost definitely dead. And MF is pretty strong. Anivia is actually a lot stronger than Xayah at this point, so we should literally focus Anivia, honestly. But I mean, in this instance, Xayah is the one who's out of place, so whoever we hit, we have to just burst. MF, so her ulti wasn't quite up yet. Nice. I had bad E by me, obviously. I think I wasn't sure. Okay, so I mean, Xayah, I wasn't expecting her to walk like into the range of the MF auto attack like that, but yeah, I just kind of tunnel visioned on hitting the E. I didn't really account for. I just wanted her dead, honestly, and that's fine. I mean, again, I don't want to like risk shit like that. Like, I don't want to let her get away with my E up. Like, I don't want to risk that, so I'm fine with that. Do I use my W? Okay, good. Sometimes I don't use my W on Lux. It's really bad. Sucks that I got it. But again, just want to get the kill. I don't want to fuck around. Get the shutdown. The good thing is the gold's good on me too, so... And here, I just fucking... Just stepped up too far. I should have known Diego. That's another play that was on a timer. I should have known. I also... I mean, that was fine. I theoretically should have maybe hit the blast cone, but it really doesn't matter. I think I get out here. Yeah, so anytime, like these are the times like when I want to start thinking about other lanes, macro stuff. I mean, I should always be like looking at other lanes, but whenever you base and are recalling and coming back, that's when you start to check the other team's items. You know, fucking spot check, where is everyone? What's the state of the lanes, all that shit. Which again, I think is a fundamental part of the game. And obviously our Scion is losing hard to Lilia. So I know Lilia is gonna be a win con, like, guaranteed, and I know Graves is gonna be a win con. And MF, honestly. Like, we're still strong. Our Vex is still strong. Good old D. I wasn't really paying attention. So Viego is most likely doing his top side camps. Like, Dragon's not up, all his bot camps are down, Blue's up. I don't know if we know this information, but with Scuttle and Rift, like, it's likely that he's... But at this point, we have to be considering Lilia too. We can't... We're 14 minutes in the game. She's an incredibly fast champion with a huge lead. She probably wants to impact the map at this point. Got the E. Nivea walls. Same spot as before. Nivea flash. I don't know why I didn't just walk that way. But again, I mean, I think that was another... I guess I was just trying to hit it. I guess I had a better angle over there. I guess I just need to stay in the middle of the lane, like I was saying before. When he Graves is here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
That's the other thing, like, is that even though your E sets up your Q guarantees your E. So, like, if you can hit a Q for free, I mean, I think there I just should have placed my E better, actually. I just didn't place it well, because if you can hit a Q, you can definitely hit an E. Like, I think I'm trying to predict too much with E, because E is, if you just hit where they're standing, I mean, he has Sork boots, but if you just hit where they're standing from this close, they're not going to be able to dodge it. Like, you don't really have to get fancy, so I could probably be a little less fancy with my E's. I also could have probably autoed him there, but it's alright. Yeah, really fucking long laning phase, but that's all I want to look at for now.